It is now the 17th of April 2020. It's Friday, and we're coming to the end of the fourth week of isolation. The government announced yesterday a 3-week extension to this UK lockdown. So we're now looking at a minimum of 7 weeks of this partial UK lockdown, which is daunting to say the least. Even though we probably all expected it, the news to come that it will be extended. This week has been a struggle for me. I'm not 100% sure why, but I'm keen to unpick it. This is partly why I wanted to film this little video today, and wanted to speak openly again. Monday, I woke up irritable, lethargic, very much feeling on the edge, emotional, on the verge of tears, defiant that I wouldn't succumb to them, and guilty when I did. This past month or so hasn't been easy for anybody, and we're all coping, managing, reacting to this in different ways, and that's okay. This is something that I'm very keen to reaffirm, how we're all doing this individually. That's okay. I keep asserting that there is no rule book on how to handle the current situation. We're definitely in unprecedented times. But if I can speak from a personal perspective, I'm noticing, and more so this week, that I'm having quite a volatile response, very much a fluctuating response to the situation. Everything seems heightened, and I suppose this very surreal, very lonely, very isolated time in which we're all living and trying to get through is starting to force me maybe to confront some things that I consider to be my failings, my shortcomings, my fears, all those things that I judge myself on and have judged myself on for my whole life, and force myself to confront and see in the harsh light of day all those things that I hate myself for. Feeling alienated, or isolated, disconnected, and questioning, what's the point, is normal for anyone living with depression and anxiety. And certainly in these times, those feelings and questions and those doubts about oneself are just getting louder and louder. I said last week that this period will be seminal in our collective, our national, our global history. But I'm also getting the sense that it may be seminal in my life as well. Maybe I'm overthinking all of this too much, but I don't want to waste this time out of life, this state of limbo, I suppose you can call it. But in the same breath, I don't feel capable of doing it alone. I'm not capable of doing it alone. That's the fact. I'm not capable. But I am alone. This deafening silence and the empty hours are forcing me to confront that, and it's becoming harder and harder to ignore. That's pretty terrifying. The walls seem to be closing in, and I don't really see a way out at the moment. Day to day, before all this happened, I could normally mask it to a degree, lose myself in the routine, keep busy, get through the working day, all the time going nowhere. I could silence the doubt and the failings, my failings, by putting on a facade, by, I suppose, merely existing, because maybe by being I was, by being I am, and because that's not necessary right now or practical right now, I'm just left with me, and that's not a very attractive remnant. I don't want to reach 30 and still feel embarrassed or intimidated or feel a failure. Oh, maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't know. Maybe the uncertainty of the outside is manifesting in here. I'm not sleeping well. Either much too much. I think yesterday I was sleeping for maybe must have been 19 hours or so, or having restless nights where the anxious thoughts just snowball and are all consuming. You get to a point where you think, well, if I can't do that, then that won't happen. And if I'm not there by that point in time, that's going to happen. And you just get totally lost in those whys and wherefores and what ifs, and all of the shortcomings are right there at the forefront. Breaking that cycle is proving, I was going to say impossible, but nothing is impossible. But it's very difficult at the moment. The paranoia breeds. I haven't seen, like the rest of us, any friends, in 4 weeks now. What if they forget me? What if they can manage without me? What if they don't want to see me when this is all over? All those little feelings, those fears, those questions, those doubts are becoming so pronounced again. we talk of that deafening silence when you're left to your own devices, left to your own thoughts. That self-doubt and that innate fear that has seemingly defined my whole life, it is bubbling to the surface, and I don't know how to dampen it. And that's a very lonely place to be. And when you struggle with pre-existing thoughts of disconnect, or when you struggle to navigate the world with this forced disconnect and this forced isolation, it just adds another layer, which I think, if not recognised and if not vocalised, will just fester. So I do hope that by vocalising this today, it may go some way to, if not fully rectify, even partially rectify, then at least slow the pace of damage, so that I can come back to some degree and re-enter the world when all this is over. Yeah, tricky, and I know that a lot of you are in the same boat at the moment. And I always want to do these little videos just to reassure anyone that might watch that, you know, mental illness can make you feel the most isolated, the most alone, the most scared. I just hope that by hearing my voice, seeing my face, again, me talking quite candidly about this, does help reassure you that, you know, nobody is alone. I certainly hope, as I say, that through talking and giving what's going on in here a voice, I'll be able to start to deal with it. That sense of catharsis hopefully will come through for me, and start to work, start to help me process emotions. Yeah, not easy. But as I say, we do it day by day, and I may not be much use to you right now, but if you do need any help, a chat, advice that I might be able to offer, as ever, drop me a message, send me a DM, comment on this video, and as ever, stay safe, stay well, stay at home, and hopefully I'll talk to you again next week. Take care, you guys.